I'm going to be doing a fair bit today. I want to get the radiator support panel on and finished. Do a little bit of upholstery, some dog leg covers and whatnot, and a drive shaft. Just to recap on what we've done over the last week or so, taking the motor out. The motor's sitting over there in a stand. The auto trans is in getting reconditioned, getting a reco. Apparently it was pretty good, but you know, it was old, so he's doing a full reco on it. A mate of mine bought a 351 crank for this motor on eBay the other night. It was $300 plus 35 freight, so it was $335. So I'm not going to do I think I've mentioned it in the videos at some point, but I'm not going to do the big pulley system around it. I'm just going to reco the motor and just get it back to how it was originally. But the only difference is 351 crank, 302 con rods, and new pistons and rings and whatnot. So I'm really looking forward to being able to flip the car upside down so I can see what's going on, get the diff out of it, tyres and wheels off, suspension out, and really start hooking into it. I'm going to take the dashboard out once the car's in the rotisserie, because you can just stand there and take it out instead of crawling around on your back. I've got some really cool ideas on how I'm going to recover that. So, you know, going away from, you know, I guess originality, but I don't care, it's my car, I'll do what I want. It's going to look cool. Just, you know, getting myself ready to go back to work on Monday. I'll probably have a big nudge tomorrow in the shed, yeah, maybe even Sunday. My son goes home tonight, so thank God for Xbox. He's been on that thing all day, which is a bit of a pain, but that's life. So anyway, I'll leave you to it. I'm not too fussed about this video. I'm pretty tired, so anyways, thanks for watching. Hey, and all these bloody new subscribers, man. Pete's sent you over. Welcome. Some great tips that you've given me. Yeah, a bit of encouragement too, which is really quite cool. And anything that you've got to say, you know, like you know, questions or bloody criticisms even, you know, I'm open, because you know, I'm only learning. So but yeah, welcome all. And look, it's been some great conversations already. It's pretty time consuming. So if I don't get back to you, I'll try to, but I can't answer your questions on my mobile phone for some reason. I can do it on my iPad or computer. Alright guys, sayonara. This panel slotted beautifully straight onto the chassis rails. I didn't have to separate them, which I was thinking I might have to, but I didn't have to do it. I'm bloody rapt about that, because that just tells me that there wasn't any real chassis damage to it. Yeah, got a bit of a special guest coming on today. Peter Anderson's coming on down to rape and pillage the marquee. I think he's after some doors. But anyway, it'd be good to see him. Well, we've got a little bit of a situation here. I've just had Pete here, but the bloody batteries are dead in this phone, in this camera. Now we're right up against the steel here, which is really nice. I've welded the two top holes. This is in the correct position down the bottom here. Everything's lined up nicely in there. We've got a bit of gappage. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and zoom in a bit. Okay, see the gap? It's about, look, realistically it's around about 8 mil. But it does push, you can push it closed within reason. Oh, you can close it up a little bit. Down there you can close it almost all the way up. We've got it on this side as well. Gappage. All the way down. Just in that section there. Same story, it pushes, it does push in against it. And I've just been speaking to Pete about it. And he thinks, what I think, we should just close it up with bolts, bolt it up, and then weld her up, and then release her. Nice. That has got it. Well, the battery on this camera, I've got two, they're both pretty rooted, I think. Peter came here yesterday and in his XD, gorgeous old car, and I wanted to maybe shoot a little bit of, let's say, shameless cross promotion, but I wasn't able to because of the battery. Ouch. Okay, there's absolutely no gap there now. All of the grinding's done. I always find it really painful grinding spot welds because you really got to stay centered on the actual weld and try not to go on the edges. Yeah, there's not a lot of steel there to start with, so if you start running over the edges of your spot weld and taking away good steel, it's defeating the purpose. So I'm not going to clean up the inside yet. I'll do that when it's in the rotisserie, so much easier. I just want to get this front finished so that then we can put it in the rotisserie. So the front's done, the back's done, and so I'm going to just put a bit of bog on here now. One thing, these ears on all the Falcons have been bent over. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe it's when you're sliding the bumper on. I heated them to straighten them up, but I don't want to put any heat around there now because I've got bog there and I just can't be bothered. So I'm going to try and bend them. It's been about 20 minutes. It's hard. It's still a bit tacky, but it's certainly hard and chips off pretty well. So I'm going to give that a sand. That was for you, Stuart. I was working in the shed a couple of months ago, and a friend of mine sort of introduced me to that song. Doing a little bit of headbanging. I'm 52 bloody years old, but it's quite a cool tune. And put me back out. He's still there. He hasn't moved. I've been making that noise with all the grinders and whatnot. God, he looks poxy. Oh, that's gross. Okay, I've decided to start weighing the primer. So it's 175. So that should be 87. So that's it, finished. Yeah, she's all good now. She can stay like that for a couple of months while I do everything else. And any imperfections I'll address once I start doing the final preparation for paint. So, but it's done. It's on, solid, fits beautifully. And I broke a circlet. I hope the universals come with a circuit. The balancing weight A and this other balancing weight B are located at the rear of the tail shaft. The front, there is no balancing weights, so that's only for my benefit, guys. That's yours. I keep all my old thinners in this Milo tin. Pretty manky, but you know, ideal for cleaning up and around these places. Do it with an old toothbrush, and I'll just get some safety glasses. Yeah, I like to see a drive shaft and diff painted up. Last one I did all blue. This one I'm just going to use that epoxy, that 2-pack bloody silver. Yeah, and make it look nice. A few hours work and you've got a beautiful drive shaft. Scotch Brite. So it's handy to keep your old thinners. Yes, that's just been black rattle canned. Oh my God. You just want a clear lack of that, don't you? Okay, so I've got her hanging up there. I'm going to give her a wash. I figured that if the black rattle can paint lasted on that drive shaft for what, 30 odd years, with no preparation underneath it, my 2-pack's going to last a while. You got to be so careful spraying this stuff. Especially because I did it without primer, it just wants to. Anyway, I've got a little treat for you. While we're waiting for the paint to dry, we're going to do some upholstery. These little dogleg covers, because we're going to upholster these in the same brown fabric as the seats, and there's the screws that I've already attached. I don't like painting plastic, and just to basically get the dust off and any oily stuff that might be on there. I mean, they clean up bloody well already, but I covered the ones in the XW and they look sensational. So this is the fabric I've used for the seats. It's a herringbone pattern. It's very, very subtle herringbone. Now, because there is a direction, there's a top and a bottom, and there's no economical way to cut this because there's a sort of a definite direction to the pattern. You can't cut it like that because it would mean that the pattern's running forward. You want that pattern to run down, so you've got to cut it like that. It's expensive, I know, but that's the way it is. Okay, so we don't need much at the back because we're going to cut it off sort of with a raw edge down there. Enough to go over the top, and enough to go all the way around the front and around the back. Okay. This won't take very long at all. Now the secret to covering something like this, even though it looks like just a really basic piece, if you start by laying your fabric on that side, you're going to run into trouble on the inside because the fabric's going to want to pucker around all of these corners. If you try laying it from the outside, you're going to have the same problem on the inside. The best place to start, even though it feels and it sounds wrong and unorthodox, is right up that center. Okay, so go right on that center line. The reason is it'll give you something to pull over that side and something to pull over that side to work out. You've got to try and work there's going to be puckers. You've got to work them out. The secret to a really good finish on something like this, even though it's just a basic part, if you want to cover it, you can. But the thing is, never put the fabric on and then lift it up, because what you're going to do, you're going to pull all the glue off the plastic and it's going to bag up underneath your fabric. You're going to notice it. Guess if you've ever tried to put on any like stripes on a car or what have you, or tint, I don't know, you just got to try and work her on there without any puckers. See, it's wanting to pucker here, but you don't let it. That's good. We might just have to do it how they've done it, because I need to put a relief cut in here. So we're going to have to do it the way they did it. Okay, on this side, what you need to do, because that acts as part of like the pinch weld, okay, so what you've got to do, you've got to take the fabric around and you've got to tuck it down into there, okay, because when you put this on, it's going to sandwich that fabric and it won't be able to pull out. It's not going to want to pull out anyway, because, oh my god, yeah, we're going to have issues. Okay. He's good. Put a little relief cut in there. Oh yes. Yeah, it's really tricky in that spot because it just wants to, there's not enough fabric, so to speak. every trade has its own special tools. This is called a regulator. It's like a needle with a flat blade at the top, and it's very useful, especially for getting that fabric down into there. Of course, the overspray of the glue isn't helping. There we go. If you wanted to save yourself, so that looks really neat, that section there. If you wanted to save yourself some headaches, you could, I guess, with a really sharp Stanley knife, cut that off with a raw edge. But I don't like raw edges, and you know, yeah, this is the right way to do it. Okay. So you just cut a little dart so you can fold that fabric under. It's looking great. It's okay to have a raw edge on the back of this, because it's tucked in behind the seat. Never ever gets seen. Okay, well, there we have it. Two equally beautiful upholstered dog leg covers. So, a nice thing. They're ready for the parts room. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff.